Hey guys, Doman here with another roll video. This one is on the Bounty Hunter. The Bounty Hunter is going to be a pretty interesting role as those who want to pursue this kind of lifestyle, hunting down criminals on the fringes of the galaxy, all that good stuff. But be warned, it is a very, solitary role most of the time. It can be quite a lonely existence. Traveling the space lanes, looking for a mission to see if there's anyone that needs to be brought to justice. Or maybe, you need to either kill them or bring them back, if you have the ability to bring them back. So you'll probably spend most of your time in bars or in places that, where you might get tip-offs and whatnot. You'll be contacting the local bounty hunter registration system in-game for the selected area and system. As we know, different areas will have different, basically, you could say agencies you have to contact to be able to go in after bounties in their territory. But the bounty hunter role will be an interesting one. Basically, you'll be focusing on upgrading your ship to the best of its ability. You'll probably want to start out with something that has high mobility, the ability to bring someone back alive, some kind of disruption device enabling you to basically stop the enemy vessel without having to kill it right out, especially if it's a fighter. As we know, the time to kill on ships will be increased, and its time to disable is what will basically be about. So yeah, basically something that has good mobility, the ability to transport a prisoner, and something that has an EMP device or something like that. The Hawk is an excellent example of the perfect bounty hunter starter ship, in my honest opinion. You'll also want to focus on your personal armor and your weapons. Now, with your armor and your weapons, you gotta remember you will be having to spend your money on maintaining your ship, your weapons, your armor, all this stuff. Everything will cost money. And every single time you have to spend a credit on ammunition or fuel or something like that, it siphons off the reward that you will be getting at the end of the day for catching your target. And that is what it's all about. It's tracking down and catching your target. You may find yourself traveling for very long periods of time without, catching a bounty or something like this. Basically just breaking even or just scraping above, the minimum line of what it takes to basically finance your role or whatever. Because, when it comes to armor and weapons, you have to upkeep and maintain them. But when you do find your target, you have to take in mind that if they're near a planet or something like that, you have to be careful because they might be trying to head home to where the rest of their guys are, the rest of their group is. You'll often be coming into contact with basically pirates, NPCs, and players alike. Now, when it comes to players, when you're hunting them down, you want to exercise extreme caution. If you're chasing down a cutlass, for example, that is headed towards a planet, you might find it a bit of a struggle to catch up to it if it has increased engines or whatever, if they have decided to upgrade their cutlass to be as fast as possible, and if they're pirates, they're likely to do so. So catching them might be a struggle. You might have to try and whittle down their ship's shields and eventually pop off an engine or two to really get it to slow down. Now, they'll probably run for a planet's surface somewhere, and this is where it pays to be trained to be able to fly in all kinds of environments. As a bounty hunter, each planet will present a different set of challenges and a different set of tasks and things you can really swing to your advantage. Basically, some planets might have a really thick atmosphere with really sort of extreme and inclement weather, like you might be flying through really heavy thunderous storms. Or you might be basically simply flying along the surface of a planet which is like the Sahara Desert, where there's relatively no terrain. There's all sorts of different environments you will have to get used to flying in. High G, low G, atmospheric, non-atmospheric, all this type of stuff comes into play. And the same thing is true for your first-person combat. You're going to really have to focus on fighting in different environments. Zero G, high G, low G, within a space station. You have to be able to adapt on the fly, because if you're hunting down some pirates who are in a derelict space station, they could just flip off the gravity at any second, really, and then you will have to then be fighting in zero G. And then you'll remember that in a zero G environment, when fighting other players, the ceiling can be the floor for they could basically be on the roofs, in the corners of the ceiling, just looking down, waiting for you to come through the door, and all that type of stuff. So back to the ships. When it comes to your ship, it's really important to be careful, and obviously that is true, but what I mean by that is you don't want to do too much damage to your ship. because if you take too much punishment, it doesn't matter if you, well, once you've caught them, because you'll basically just be paying off your repairs. And to be a bounty hunter, you kind of want to make a little bit of extra money on the side. So when you're chasing down your prey, it's good to keep a good, safe sort of distance in case they make some kind of catastrophic mistake and plow into something. That'll give you a real advantage in terms of an early warning. Say they're, flying extremely low and something like a huge rock dips up or something. If you're right behind them, and I mean right behind them, you're gonna hit it too. Because when you're traveling at those speeds, a split second is you're going to be covering quite a few yards of ground, if you get what I mean. You're going to be going quite far. So you can imagine what happens if they make a mistake. By the time you've reacted, you've probably hit that thing too. Also, dodging debris off of a ship that you're chasing. Now, this is something not many people will have to be worried about unless, like maybe they're a bounty hunter, because you're going to be on the tail of your target. As you do more damage to the ship, it may lose parts and fall apart, and if you plow into an engine at like 100 meters per second when your shields are down, it can cause some serious damage. So once you've got the enemy ship on the ground, that is the most risky part of the whole thing, is when you basically go to open the enemy ship and pry them out of it. Yes, you can just unload into their ship and force them out that way, but at the same time, if you're trying to bring them back alive, and they've suffered quite a horrendous crash, they might be a little bit dazed, their characters might be a little bit wounded and whatnot, so it'll be a little easier for you to take them out. They'll probably exit their craft if they're, new to the whole being taken down thing, trying to assess the damage, and hell, they'll probably try to evacuate their ship in case they think you're going to blow it up. And that'll be your time to strike. You'll have the element of surprise if you've landed, and then you'll be able to basically take out as many as you have to, and then if there are any survivors, you can perhaps bring them back alive. It's very important to be extremely careful when basically escorting people back to your ship, because you have to have at least, have the knowledge you've taken down quite a few of these guys, because if there is anyone lurking in the shadows, they can easily shoot you in the back, and that is the end of that, basically. Being a bounty hunter is quite a risky job. It's not for those who are, a little bit skittish about losing everything on each outing. It is a very, very risky role to go for, because each time you go after your target, each time you pursue your target, it's gonna be a roll of the dice. Will it be you who basically bites the dust, or will it be your prey? Now, obviously, bounties will pay a lot more for capturing people alive, and if you can manage to capture people alive, I'd highly recommend it. It'll also increase your reputation. That's something you'll really, really want to work on, is your reputation for being a bounty hunter that basically brings back his target almost every time. Like Boba Fett, basically. That kind of thing. Well, Boba Fett did kill a few people, but you get the idea, right? So, it's also important not to get a personal grudge going against the target you're after, especially if it's a player, because then you basically can maybe cloud yourself in terms of, you'll be dead set on killing this guy, and you won't be in a focused mindset. The idea when being a bounty hunter is you're going to take all the emotion out of it, and you want to focus on the role at hand. Because the second you basically get angry, you start taking stupid risks, like flying through a really dense asteroid field or something to catch a prey that way. Now, each planet is going to bring out different rules, you could say. So if you're going down to a edge of UEE space, kind of like city or something, and it will probably be sort of maybe a semi-bustling metropolis with people moving around and stuff, you may not be allowed to draw your weapon in those kind of areas. But you can use less than lethal weapons, so that's when it brings to the next side of the thing, which is you will probably physically have to chase down the guy you're after. And it will be pretty fun, I can guarantee you, chasing someone through the city streets of a strange planet in the middle of nowhere on the edge of UEE space. I mean, you'll have to basically get a good lay of the land, because in these kinds of environments, there's lots of dangers, such as ships coming in to land and literally just in the middle of the road, you could say, and all sorts of things like this to be wary of. You don't want to get squashed. You don't want to get run over either by, a car passing by, like the cyclone or something. And you definitely don't want to start a fight with other randos, who are basically just chilling out and whatnot. And certain NPCs will react differently to your presence. If you're a well-known bounty hunter and there are criminals lurking around, they may not take too kindly to you basically chasing down either an NPC or a player. So in this example, as you can see on the screen, the guy is basically trying to run for his life and you have the bounty hunter chasing him down. Now this is where it pays to know the lay of the land, because they could all of a sudden make a split-second shortcut, or it could be a fatal mistake. Now, you saw the two guys jumping over the railing. What could also happen in that scenario is that could be a 60-foot drop. So if the guy is running from you and he gets desperate and he jumps over a railing without thinking, that could be instant death, basically, and you don't want to follow him into that mistake. But there will be times where your target may get away. And it's important not to get too frustrated when that happens, even though you were right on their tail. This is where the other side of the bounty hunter really comes to play. You basically get to play detective. You have to basically, think, okay, where is this guy gonna run to? Where could he be? What kind of, attitude does this guy have? Whereabouts is he gonna run to? Where's the closest ship for him to access to get out of, off the planet and out of the system? All that type of stuff. So it's really, really important to not just give up once the guy has got out of your visual range or whatever. It's important to give it maybe one more shot of just flying around the area, trying to detect the guy and see if you can find him that way, because, you never know. He could be lurking around the next corner, or he might be, long gone. You'll never know unless you try. So another side to the bounty hunter role also is perseverance, is what I'm trying to get at here. Is you've got to persevere, but you have to be very careful of traps. Traps are basically things that can happen where a pirate knows you're coming and he set up an ambush. When that happens, you have to be very careful because you do not know how many people he's got helping him. Say you've tracked down this pirate who you lost earlier. Now he's basically, running to where his buddy is, and his buddy has a ship. Now, this is very bad indeed. If the guy has a ship and you don't have any anti-ship weapons, you want to use as much cover to your advantage as possible, because there's going to be a lot of lead flying around, and if one of those bullets hits you, it's the end of the road, basically, and you don't want that to happen. Probably in this kind of scenario, the local law enforcement will then chase down the guy's ship that he's trying to get to, and then he'll basically be stranded until that ship is able to land. So that'll be the point where you have to ignore what's going on above you, and I know this can be quite difficult in these kind of environments, but you'll have to ignore everything that is going on around you and just focus on your primary target. The ships could be duking it out, there could be missiles exploding and basically bullets flying everywhere, but you've got to focus on the guy you're trying to catch, because he's going to be focusing on you. He's not going to be too focused on the battle going on around you guys. And this is another thing that it comes down to, is it's training, perseverance, and dedication that really make a successful bounty hunter. And a little bit of luck mixed in there as well, of course. But on foot combat, you have to really, really master, in my honest opinion, because, there could be a whole different variety of situations where this pirate might actually be pretty darn decent at on foot, basically, kind of combat. And if he is, then that poses a very serious threat. If he can shoot you, basically outgun you on the ground, if he is a better shot and stuff, you then have to use other tactics. Maybe use the terrain to your advantage and things like that. Really get him bogged down, and definitely carry plenty of ammunition, because you don't know how long this fight is going to go on for. So when you're there fighting this guy behind the rock, or maybe he's behind a crate or something like that, it's important not to get too caught up in the action at the same time. It's important to stay focused, but always have something in the back of your mind that someone could be watching or creeping up on you, because you never know what could happen next. Sometimes you might have to maybe take the target back alive, but there might be other times where it's easier just to execute your prey. And if that time does come around, don't hesitate to, especially in a dangerous environment where it's not worth it, because you could be escorting this guy back to your ship and more of his buddies could be on the way. It might be more beneficial to you and your safety to just take him out there and then on the spot. And if that's the case, then go ahead and do so, because it's going to be your ass on the line otherwise. And trust me, you don't want it to be your ass on the line. So, being a bounty hunter is a mixture of things. It's being able to, work in different environments, stay focused, basically have a good knowledge and a good sense of tracking skills. As your skills improve over time, you'll be able to then maybe focus on other types of targets, like smaller craft, like guys trying to get away on dragonflies and stuff, where you'll be able to use your EMP and knock out the dragonfly and send it spiraling out of control, you know, injuring the rider, therefore making it easier for you to take him back alive. And when things like that happen, you know, like you'll be able to take more people back alive, your reputation will just catapult and it'll go through the roof. So being a bounty hunter, you gotta remember, it's just down to dedication and focus. Also, weapons. Choose weapons that are more to your playstyle. Don't choose a weapon maybe because it's the best weapon right now. Choose something that you know you are good with and you can really, you know, basically use effectively in all kinds of environments, because some weapons might not be so great for other kinds of environments. Like laser weapons might not be too great if you're trying not to give your position away, because you might be on a planet where it's permanently nighttime, like it's permanently dark on one side. If that's the case, lasers will definitely give away your position because they'll be able to see where they're coming from. This is where it pays to have something that has, like, you know, bullets and stuff. But like kinetic weapons, the problem there is you'll be carrying a lot more weight on your character in terms of ammunition. That will affect your stamina. Balancing that perfect balance between ammunition, stopping power, mobility, and basically survivability will be one of your major challenges. So this has been a rough outlook basically on the Bounty Hunter, guys. I really wanted to get a quick outline on what it's about and the kind of things you'll be doing, and you know, when you'll be hunting down your targets and having a good time. I hope that the clips on the screen have basically helped me explain this to you guys, the kind of atmosphere having a bounty hunter will have. It's very much a lone wolf kind of endeavor. You may decide to group up with other players and be bounty hunters together, but yet again, the payouts might not be so great in the early days for you to be able to do that. And that's where it really pays to be a lone wolf in that kind of environment. And it's going to be a very, I don't want to say lonely, but it's going to be one hell of an adventure. I'd have to say it'll be one of the most exciting roles out there. If you're one to roll the dice and really, you know, give it your all on each mission, knowing it could be your last, then this is definitely the role for you. If not, then, you know, try being a mercenary or something along those lines. Thank you so much for watching the video, and right to the very end, I really do appreciate it. Videos like this would not be possible without my Patreons backing me up. It helps me continue to do this. It basically helps me continue to make videos. Without that, I simply wouldn't be able to afford it, as I've said before. And the Patreons are the sole reason why this channel is still going, so huge props to them. I just want to say a huge thank you to the people that have supported me and continue to support me. So Andrew Burton, Hilda, Bill Bryant, Brandon Manuel, Brandon Kelly, David Toombs, Azuman, Samuel Pitt, Yellow, and Tom Talaba. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. So if you'd like to support the channel and keep like more kind of content like this flowing, then you can check out the Patreon. Also, if you like what I do here, please subscribe, leave a like, comment, let me know your thoughts. I really want to know on what you thought of this kind of video. My new role videos, as you may have seen the other two, the pirate one and the trader one, you know, I really wanted to try more of a live action kind of feel of these. Now, I was using Shadow PC to basically film these because my PC right now is a brick, basically. It's a toaster. So I'm saving the funds also on the side to basically get some new parts for my PC so I can make more live action stuff like this for you guys also, along with more information-based stuff. So really get a wider variety of content out there for you that is more original and not just copy-paste what everyone else is doing. So yeah, as I want to say, a huge thank you to you for watching the video, and let me know what your thoughts are. What kind of role would you like to really pursue? Is the bounty hunter something you really want to do, or is it more maybe, you know, something you're intrigued by but not something you want to dive headlong into? Because with things like permadeath and stuff, it is a very risky kind of role. So yeah, I want to do more role videos like this. I want to do the mercenary, the mining and salvage and repair and all this type of stuff, but right now I don't have the PC for it. But as soon as I get some parts, look out for those. So yeah, there'll be more videos coming up on the channel once a week, every Monday, and every now and again, a little something extra like a music video or something. So yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you to you for watching my videos and subscribing and sticking with me for this long. It's been a fun few years. Oh, and before I end this note, remember, check the description box for really kick-ass groovy stuff. And also, if you're looking for an organization to join which is focused on hunting down people and catching pirates and all that good stuff, then check out my org. It's known as the Death Corp Strike Unit. I'm pretty sure there's a link in the description to that. If there's not, I will drop it in the comments. Thank you yet again so much for watching, and yeah, you know the drill, Commanders. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse. If you're looking for a Bar Citizen event, why not check out Bar Citizen San Antonio, Texas? That's right, there's a Bar Citizen event for you to go to. Check out the description for all the relevant information, such as a map, a link to their Discord, and all that good stuff. And I cannot recommend it enough. It's full of the nicest individuals you could possibly hope to meet, all itching to talk about Star Citizen and sci-fi and what the hell ever. So why don't you jump on down there and say hello to some of the guys, and I hope you have a wonderful and amazing time.